You know, Mom, I was a bit embarrassed eating an apple at break time.
Why is that, dear?
Well, Alex had pizza, Mary had a candy bar, and Joan had chips.
And?
And I was sure they would laugh at me if I pulled the apple out of my bag.
Why don't you ignore them and eat your fruit? I'm sure nobody would laugh if they knew how nutritious fruits are.
You're right, Mom. Our teacher has talked to us about healthy nutrition.
I think you'd better listen to your teacher.
Yeah, you're right. I will.
And don't forget, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Let's have an apple then.
Are you ready for school, dear?
Yeah, Mom. I'm almost ready.
Have you had breakfast yet?
I'm late for school. I'd rather skip breakfast.
That's a big mistake. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
I know, Mom. You keep telling me.
I don't think you should neglect breakfast. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, but I've told you I don't have time. Besides, I'd prefer a glass of milk.
Just pour the milk in the bowl. I've already put in the cereal. It's made from barley, oats, and...
Oh, Mom!
And don't forget to take your whole grain sandwich to school for lunch. How did you like the conference?
It was quite interesting, but...
The keynote speaker was quite analytical and very well informed. Why are you so skeptical?
The only part I have some objections about are the ways of cooking meat, especially barbecuing.
What do you mean?
Recent studies have shown that grilling meat over charcoal might be dangerous.
Why is that?
When fat from the cooking meat drips on the hot coals, the smoke that forms contains dangerous substances.
Consequently, we shouldn't eat meat cooked too long over charcoal?
Yes, medium rare or even rare is okay.
Could you please explain to us how an omelette is made?
Yes, certainly. It's not complicated at all. First, crack 5 eggs into a bowl, add salt and blend with a fork. Then heat a 10-inch aluminium pan and add the butter. Next, pour the eggs into the pan and stir with a spatula.
What's the final step?
Last, as soon as a semi-solid mass begins to form, add any filling you want, like cheese and vegetables, and fold the omelette in half.
Is that all?
Yes, as simple as that.
I'd like 3 ounces of Parmesan cheese, please.
I'm sorry, there isn't any. We've just run out of Parmesan cheese. Would you like some mozzarella instead?
No, thanks. I want to put some on top of my pasta. It's an important ingredient.
I apologize about that. Is there something else I could help you with?
Actually, I need a carton of pasteurized milk, a bottle of fresh orange juice, a dozen eggs, and some low-fat yogurt.
Well, the milk, eggs, and yogurt are right around the corner. You can pick up the orange juice over there in the fresh juice section. Is there anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you for seeing me today.
No problem. How can I help you today?
Well, for the past few weeks, I have been following the daily diet you suggested.
And how is it going so far?
I have been losing some weight, but I am kind of bored eating the same food every week.
What do you have in mind?
Well, I was wondering if you can suggest other sources of protein, apart from meat and chicken.
Of course. One of the best sources of protein is fish and seafood.
What fish in particular?
All kinds of fish are good for us. Tuna, cod, and trout are great examples.
I like oily fish the most.
Great. Sardines are a high-protein food and a great source of vitamins.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good morning, sir. How can I help you?
2 vanilla cupcakes, please.
We have some cookies just out of the oven if you like.
Yes, I'd prefer those. They look delicious.
Here you go. Would you like anything else?
Yes, I'd like to order a birthday cake. It's for my son's birthday this Saturday. Can you have it ready by then?
We can do that. Would you like chocolate or vanilla flavor?
I'd rather have a chocolate one.
Okay, I will have that ready on Saturday morning. Come and pick it up then.
Thanks. Can I pay for it now?
Of course. The total, including the cookies, is $31.95.
Welcome, Paul. Are you ready to start your first training session?
Yes, I can't wait.
Okay, today I'll show you how to make the best filter coffee. So, first of all, add the paper filter to the filter basket.
Okay, got that.
Then, put some coffee inside. You can select from a number of flavors available. The most popular one is hazelnut.
Great, good to know.
After that, add the right amount of water so you don't end up with the wrong consistency.
Is this okay?
Perfect. Now, turn it on and wait.
How long will I have to wait?
You need to wait until the coffee is completely brewed before serving it. You must not forget to remove the filter immediately.
Thank you so much for the help.
Hi, Helen. How far along are you now?
Hi, Dr. Snow. I am 6 months pregnant now, and to be honest, I'm always hungry.
Is that why you were here today?
Yes, I need some advice for healthy and nutritious snacks that can satisfy my hunger.
No problem. The best snack you can have is dried fruit or nuts.
Don't they have too many calories?
Actually, they are a great source of vitamins, minerals, protein, fat, antioxidants, and fiber. All of them ideal for your growing baby.
I'm so happy to hear that. How much can I have?
They should be eaten daily, as long as the portion is small. A handful of dried fruits and nuts can make you feel full.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to help.
Can you clarify the term organic food? What does it really mean?
Well, it's food grown and processed without the use of chemical fertilizers and synthetic pesticides. Also, no GMOs are allowed.
Can you explain what GMOs are?
Genetically modified organisms.
Is there evidence that GMOs are harmful?
Some say there's not enough evidence yet, but in my opinion, if the genes of a product are modified, it is easily understood that it cannot be safe and healthy enough.
Further research is required, though, before anything can be said with certainty, correct?
Yes, but we have to emphasize the benefits of organic food, both on people's health and on the environment.
Your lecture, just now, was very enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
We had a fascinating class today.
Really? What did you learn about?
We talked about anatomy, the study of the human body.
That sounds interesting. What exactly did you learn?
Did you know that the human body absorbs oxygen so it can be used for respiration?
That's through the respiratory system, isn't it? Tell me more.
Yes, exactly. And did you know that our bodies convert food so it can be used for energy?
That's through the digestive system, isn't it?
Yes, our body is such a complicated machine.
You're right.
Professor Green, can you clarify something?
Sure, Melissa, go ahead.
What is the difference between ingestion and digestion?
Ingestion is the intake of food in the body, whereas digestion is...
The breaking down of food, right?
Exactly.
And where in the digestive system does the food get mixed up with hydrochloric acid?
In the stomach. Hydrochloric acid is secreted by 35 million glands in the stomach lining.
Thanks so much for your help.
No problem.
Hello, Mrs. Robbins. My secretary told me that you're here because you are having digestion problems. Is that right?
Yes, I've been experiencing some bloating and vomiting this past week.
Bloating is often a symptom of increased intake of food in the diet.
In what way?
Well, too much food makes you feel bloated, and if it's more than the stomach can take, then vomiting occurs.
Well, how can it be treated?
We'll have to reduce your daily intake of food. In this way, the bloating will disappear.
Thank you very much.
Let me know how it goes.
Could you tell us a few things about the central nervous system?
Well, it's large and in charge. It is one of the most important systems of the human body.
Why is that?
It controls everything that we do, Not only the ability to breathe and walk, but also to think.
Could you give me some more information? What does it consist of?
It comprises of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves.
What exactly does the brain do?
Not only does it control all the bodily movements, but it also controls our thoughts and emotions.
Tell me more.
Certainly. In addition to everything mentioned above, there's also the fact that the nervous system controls our senses.
Thank you very much.
So, in spite of the fact that you are on a diet, you're not losing weight, are you?
That's right. Although I don't deviate from my daily plan, I can't seem to shed any weight.
Are you sure you're not eating between meals?
Yes, and I'm sticking to the daily calories intake as you've suggested. I know that's a crucial part.
I see. I believe you might have a hormone imbalance.
That's possible. I think my mother had some problems with her endocrine system years ago.
That's why I think you have to visit an endocrinologist.
I will.
Let me know what the doctor says and if they suggest any medication.
I would like some advice about eating during pregnancy. I'm worried I'm not getting enough of the nutrients I need.
I can help you with that. Firstly, how far along in your pregnancy are you?
I am 15 weeks.
So, you are just entering your second trimester. What are your concerns?
Well, what should I be eating? Right now, I'm eating the same foods as I did before becoming pregnant. Is that okay?
Well, that largely depends on how good your eating habits were before. The key is to eat a lot of fruit and vegetables, but also some lean protein, whole grains, and calcium-rich foods.
I do that already. Could you advise me on what not to eat? I have heard some foods are dangerous if you are pregnant.
Of course. We can put together a meal plan, and I will include information about foods that are best avoided.
That sounds good. Thank you.
I gave birth to a lovely baby girl, and I'm breastfeeding her. Everything is going well, but I have some questions about nutrition. Can you help me?
Certainly, nutrition plays a key role for breastfeeding women. What do you want to know?
Well, is it true that food allergies can cause serious problems?
Yes, indeed. If you see any rashes or you suspect that something in your diet might be affecting your baby, avoid the food or drink for up to a week to see if it makes a difference in your baby's behavior.
I can't drink any coffee. Is that right?
Avoid drinking more than 2 or 3 cups a day. You don't want your baby's sleep to be influenced by caffeine, do you?
Of course not. A glass of red wine once in a while is okay, right?
You know, there's no level of alcohol in breast milk that's considered safe for a baby. If you drink, avoid breastfeeding for a few hours.
Oh, and what about seafood? I've heard that I shouldn't eat seafood, should I?
Well, although seafood can be a great source of protein and omega-3 fatty acids, it may contain mercury. You have to be careful.
I see. Thank you very much for the useful advice. You've been very helpful.
You're welcome.
Now that we have finished with my diet, could you please give me some suggestions about appropriate nutrition for my infant? He is 5 months old.
Certainly, but I don't think that anything special has to be done. After all, it's a natural process.
The pediatrician has advised us to start with some fruits and vegetables.
Yes, a good choice would be a banana or a soft pear that you can mash up. Make sure that no hard fruits and vegetables such as apples and carrots are fed to the baby, unless they are boiled until soft first.
Yes, of course. Do you think the baby needs any supplements?
Well, it's the pediatrician's job to tell you that. But I suggest that unless there is a specific deficiency, don't give him anything. Nothing can replace natural food. And, of course, commercial food should be avoided because it contains preservatives.
Thank you very much for the useful advice.
You're welcome.
I would like us to look at mealtime schedules. I have read that having stable daily routines when it comes to eating behavior is the key. Can you clarify this point?
Yes, I would say mealtime schedules are essential to establishing healthy eating habits in toddlers and preschoolers. Let me explain. Children love routine. Young children especially need to know what to expect.
Can you give me some examples?
Meals must be served at the same time every day in a calm atmosphere. So as not to ruin their appetite, children should not be offered candy or snacks between meals.
I see. Also, I'd like to know whether it is important that children help with food preparation.
Yes, of course. Parents should assign some while cooking activities. They could, for example, ask their preschoolers either to wash the salad or to set the table.
Have you read the guidelines about nutrition education that the Department of Education has sent?
Yes, and I am of the same opinion.
Really? I think they are too much.
I don't think so. I agree that if we as educators want to be responsible, we have to take action against childhood obesity.
Well, maybe you're right. After all, there are too many obese children in our classes.
And I've noticed that they aren't active enough.
Yes, the students' physical activity is too limited nowadays, as they spend too much time playing computer games.
I agree. That's why we have to engage them in fun and participatory activities at school.
I need to start eating healthier. I feel tired all the time and can't concentrate on my homework.
It is very important to include nutrient-dense foods in your daily diet. Adolescence is an important developmental period. What do you eat on a typical day?
I usually skip breakfast as I need to get out the door fast. For lunch, I eat a burger and fries, and I eat dinner at home.
Well, you should eat breakfast. That's really important. Your lunch is typically junk food. Try to avoid that. Do you have any other options?
The school cafeteria serves salads and sometimes fish or bean burgers.
Try some of those options. They are healthier. Since your dinner is homemade, ask whoever cooks to include more protein to your meals, and that should help with your energy levels. Also, try to include some healthy snacks in between meals.
Okay, thanks for your help.
I've noticed that during adulthood, lots of changes occur in my body, and it takes a lot of effort to keep fit.
That's absolutely true. Many people don't quite realize these changes, but they are always going on.
Are they inevitable?
Well, with careful nutrition and a lot of exercise, you can make a difference.
You mean I should eat many fruits and vegetables and little or no saturated fats?
Exactly. Few people pay much attention to what they eat.
And what about exercise? How often should I exercise?
You don't need that much time as long as you exercise every day. I would say about 30 minutes a day is fine. Don't forget to drink lots of water.
Anything else?
Make sure your serving sizes are reasonable.
My doctor suggested I see you and get some personalized advice on eating well now that I'm an older adult.
Firstly, do you have any medical conditions?
Yes, I have high cholesterol.
Okay, then you need to cut down on fat. Get your protein from high-quality, low-fat sources.
I understand.
You also need more vitamin D in your diet. You can include more mackerel and liver in your meal plan.
That makes sense.
And reduce your intake of eggs. They can raise your cholesterol considerably.
Your advice is pretty clear, thanks.
I think that you should take vitamin B12 supplements.
I don't think so, as I eat fortified cereals every day.
But still, it's not enough. You have to avoid deterioration of your nervous system.
That's highly unlikely. The upside is that I have blood tests quite often, so I will find out eventually.
But the downside is that your nervous system might have been damaged already.
I think you're overreacting.
What about you, the one who abstains from honey? Aren't you overreacting?
I'm interested in finding out the impact that eating disorders may have on teenagers.
It's really amazing how much they may affect a teenager's life. They can be a turning point for the teenager, but also their friends and family.
I see. And is it true that eating disorders are frustrating not only for the person suffering from them, but also for their family and friends?
Yes. Teenagers suffering from anorexia nervosa or bulimia nervosa usually have underlying psychological problems that make them feel confused and distressed.
Right. Do people living with those with eating disorders get tired and worn out eventually?
Most of the time. You know, it's quite difficult to cope with such self-destructive behavior. For this reason, they should ask for a psychologist's help as soon as possible.
I've just been notified that my daughter suffers from binge eating disorder, and I'm so confused that I don't know what to do. I need help.
Of course. I understand this is a painful situation for your family, but I want you to know that full recovery is completely possible.
Really? How do I improve the situation?
Firstly, I think psychotherapy is a good idea. A family-based plan could be particularly helpful.
Can you assist me?
Of course. I will book you an appointment and give you some information to read.
Is there anything else that might help?
Some medication might be prescribed.
And what if all this doesn't work out?
Well, I'm afraid that she will have to be hospitalized, but that may be good for her, so don't panic.
The right food can help your body recover since you're working out at such a high intensity.
Can food alone help me recover, or do I need supplements?
If you eat smart, your body will be able to repair itself. You don't need anything else.
What if I get fatigued?
Endurance is very important for an athlete. If you feel tired, we'll have to reassess your nutrition, or you might need to take some electrolytes to revitalize your organism.
Will I be able to perform at my peak then?
Of course you will. Trust me. As long as you take good care of your body and you eat the right food, you won't regret it.
I have my dietary plan for the week. Is it okay to drink a little alcohol?
You may drink a glass of dry white wine twice a week. It contains about 80 calories. Watch out for the empty calories of alcohol, though.
What does the acronym ABV on the bottle stand for?
Alcohol by volume. It describes the amount of pure alcohol in a drink.
I see. And what can I accompany my glass of wine with?
Avoid high-fat snacks. Otherwise, putting on weight will be inevitable.
But I've read that they slow peristalsis, so I won't get drunk.
You won't get drunk, but you will certainly get fatter.
So, you've just been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. We'll have to make some changes to your dietary routine in order to avoid insulin shots.
Will I have to stop eating anything with sugar?
Well, not exactly. You'll have to check your glucose level and make sure that you have balanced meals.
What kind of foods am I allowed to eat?
You need to adjust to a healthier way of eating and cooking. So, eat foods with fiber, and you should also eat fish twice a week.
I bet frying is forbidden, isn't it?
Well, you'll have to replace it with grilling or broiling.
Since you're undergoing chemotherapy for cancer treatment, here's what you have to do to boost your immune system. You have to maintain a healthy body weight and optimize your nutritional habits.
Will I need to change my eating habits?
You have to make sure that you are getting an adequate amount of proteins and all the necessary nutrients. A good way to start is the food guide pyramid.
What happens if I don't follow a healthy diet?
That can cause weakness or even make your body unable to respond to treatment.
Wow, I had no idea.
And watch out for diets you read about in magazines. Don't adopt any diet that isn't based on scientific research.
I'm thinking of continuing with postgraduate studies abroad.
I'm also considering that option. It's true that you must have at least a master's degree to have a successful career these days. What's the procedure?
First, I have to make up my mind about the field I'd like to work in, and then search for the right program.
What career are you interested in?
I'm thinking of working as a sports nutritionist.
Oh, really? What is required for that?
Looking at the patient's laboratory tests, his condition appears to be serious. He has high blood pressure and high cholesterol.
What about his medical history?
He has type 1 diabetes. Here, take a look yourself and make the necessary recommendations.
Well, the best thing for him to do is to abstain from salt, and I'd recommend he exercise in order to lose weight.
He lives in a nursing home, so you should talk to the person responsible for his diet.
Has he had a psychological assessment? If we want to provide overall care to this patient, we have to consider that as well.
Yes, of course. He's meeting with the psychologist tomorrow, so we'll be able to decide after talking to him.
Okay. We'll continue our assessment tomorrow then.
I'm considering pursuing a career in sports nutrition.
Why's that?
You know I've been an athlete almost all my life, so I know a lot about athletic performance and an athlete's need to perform at their best.
I was an athlete too, and my coach kept telling me to become a sports nutritionist, and that I'll have a promising career. But I'm not sure that's what I want.
What would you be interested in doing?
I enjoy working in research, and I don't mind working long hours in a lab. I am thinking about specializing in research.
That's great. Then maybe I'll collaborate with you in the future to give me the best supplements for my athletes.
Could you tell me the reason of your visit?
As you can see, I have a lot of extra weight, and I have decided that this is the right time in my life to lose it. It is really important to me.
Well, determination is the first step. I would like to know whether you have any food allergies, first of all.
Not that I know of.
Do you suffer from any chronic or hereditary diseases?
I have asthma.
I see. I would like to ask you to do a blood test and keep a food record for 3 to 4 days. When you're ready, set up an appointment with my secretary so that we can start.
Thank you very much. I will.
I would like to take your diet history. This will help me choose the most suitable dietary plan for your needs.
Okay.
Firstly, I will check your medical records and calculate your BMI and measure your waist circumference.
That's fine.
Then I would like to ask you some questions about your weight in the past, whether you were overweight as a teenager, for example.
I hope I can remember it all.
Finally, I will ask you some questions about your current lifestyle.
Such as?
I would like to know about your everyday health and well-being, the job you do, how sedentary it is, how much exercise you get, and how sociable you are.
I can answer that.
Perhaps you can also tell me about your motivation and how determined you are to lose weight.
Oh, I am very determined.
That's good to hear. Okay, let's get started then.
I went through the article on food labels, but there are a few things I couldn't understand. Can you clarify some things for me?
Sure, what would you like to know?
What is the FDA?
The FDA, or US FDA, is a federal agency of the United States Department of Health and Human Services.
I see. Where is the percent daily value, DV, found on a package?
On the nutrition facts label.
Okay, but why are nutrition labeling requirements defined by law?
So that consumers won't be deceived.
And why are ingredients displayed in descending order of predominance by weight?
In order to inform consumers about the main ingredients. Is everything clear now?
Yes, thank you. You've helped me a lot.
I am really concerned about child obesity. It seems serious. What do you think is the root cause of this terrible situation?
Well, one important factor is the way we bring up our children. First of all, some parents don't provide their children with homemade food.
That's true. They let their kids eat too much junk food. Part of it is due to a lack of time or money. Some fast food restaurants sell meals so cheap that it would cost more to buy ingredients from a supermarket to make a healthy meal.
And parents are working more hours than people did in the past, so they don't have as much time to cook.
I'm worried teenagers aren't doing enough to help out in the kitchen. If they're old enough to cook, they should.
Everyone needs to take responsibility for their own health.
I couldn't agree more.
A good and healthy way to lose weight is to eat the kind of foods that people in the Mediterranean used to eat.
I've heard of the Mediterranean diet, but I think that it's not that easy to follow, as I'm not used to eating healthy food.
It's a unique way of losing weight and lowering your blood glucose levels. First of all, you'll eliminate all processed food that you are used to. Then you will replace candy and refined foods with fruits, nuts, and whole grain products.
Oh, it's difficult for me to get used to eating that kind of food.
Relax. We can make gradual changes, and day by day you will get used to eating healthy food.
Okay, I'll try, but just have a look at my 4-day food record that you've asked me to bring. There, you'll get an idea of the kind of food I'm used to eating.
Don't worry, and don't get stressed. We'll take it one step at a time.
I've heard about the DASH diet. What is it about?
It is claimed that if you follow it, you will lower your risk for cardiovascular disease.
Really? That sounds great.
Yes, it is beneficial, especially for women. If a woman follows the DASH diet, she will manage to lose postmenopausal weight, and it will also help her against PCOS.
What does that mean?
It's polycystic ovary syndrome, a hormonal disorder. The DASH diet can also help make the body more alkaline. If somebody's body is too acidic, the person will eventually suffer from severe diseases.
That's interesting. Tell me more.
It has to do with the pH level of the body. It's quite complicated.
I look forward to your lecture on the subject.
I had no idea that the Atkins diet was so old.
It is believed that it started in the 1970s. What is it exactly?
It is a low-carb diet, and it is split into 4 phases.
What about the 5-2 diet? It is thought to be relatively new, isn't it?
Yes, it was launched just a few years ago, and it is said that it lowers the risk of insulin resistance.
Yeah, I've heard about that before, but it is claimed that there's not enough evidence about its effectiveness.
Well, it is said to be as effective as the calorie-restricted diets, but it needs to be proved in the years to come.
I think the same goes for the Atkins diet as well.
You're right.
Let's look at some of the methods used to measure body composition. Are you familiar with any of them?
Yes, the most common ones like DEXA, UWW, and ID.
Well, these are considered to be the most accurate.
Are they difficult to use?
Yes, and the disadvantages are that they are very expensive and have to be operated by a special administrator.
Are there any which a nutritionist can use in their office?
Yes, BIA has advantages. It is portable and inexpensive, so nutritionists use them in their offices. It is especially a good option to use with children. It's safe and doesn't need much training.
Thanks for your help, Professor.
Hi there. I am a specialized administrator of dual-energy X-ray absorptiometry, and I will show you how to operate the machine in real time. First, ask the woman to lie down on the padded table.
I see she's lying down already.
Okay, then press this button so that the X-ray generator is located below the woman.
Is this okay?
Yes. Now press the button for the imaging device to be placed above the woman.
Is this okay?
No, move it a little bit to the left. You have to be accurate. Now support the legs on a pillow to flatten the pelvis and place the legs in a brace.
Done.
Last, ask her to stand still. Walk behind this wall and activate the machine. In 10 minutes, we will know the total amount of body fat and the total bone mineral density.
The methods of measuring body composition are getting more and more accurate. Which one do you think is the best?
I believe each one has its advantages and drawbacks. Some methods are not as easy to carry out as others, while some methods are not as accurate as others.
I agree. Some methods require you to submerge the person in water, while others need just a small calculation and maybe a skin-fold caliper like the SFT method, for example.
The more research carried out, the more accurate and more applicable the methods will become.
What would you say a common disadvantage of all methods is?
I'd say body fat distribution might influence all assessments.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we've graduated, and now what?
I've read about a site where you send your CV. They upload it, and companies in the field can see it and invite you for an interview.
Let's send them our resumes then. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yes, but first we have to make one. I haven't prepared mine yet. What should I include? I'm afraid I'll leave out important information. Can you help me?
Of course. You have to include everything about yourself, no matter how irrelevant or of minor importance it might seem to you. Here's a sample.
Okay, I know what to write for personal information, but what can I write about experience, since I don't have any?
You can include the 3 months that we've worked collecting nutritional data for our professor. It wasn't exactly work, but it has certainly been a great experience. You could include the letter of recommendation from our professor to certify it.
You're right. I wouldn't have thought of it. But what about languages? I speak English fluently, although I'm not good at writing, and I don't have a certificate.
Then, you can write that you're a competent user in speaking and that you are a basic user in writing. Of course, a certificate would be better.
You're right. If I want to enrich my CV, I have to get a language certificate.
I've just been invited to an interview at a health center. It's for the position of registered dietitian. Although I have the skills, I'm really nervous about it. I have rehearsed every possible answer, but I think that I'll forget everything.
You should prepare yourself, but it's better not to memorize anything. I don't think it's a good idea as you need to sound natural.
I am worried that my nerves will get the best of me and I will not make a good impression.
Don't be. Just smile and shake hands firmly with the interviewer. You better not sit down until you are asked, and sit with a good posture. You know, body language is very important during an interview.
You're right. I know all these things, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to answer any questions, or if I will go blank.
Don't worry. I'm certain that as soon as the conversation starts to flow, you'll feel relaxed and you will do really well.
AVN Pharma Education